Things just got worse and worse and worse as the night went on. Again, valiant effort down the stretch for the Bucs. Just too little, too late. Let's go down and let's see what Coach Fletch and the rest of the crew has to say. And as always, go Bulls. So let's head into the locker room right now and see what the guys have to say about that one. Wow. Where do the Buccaneers go from here? What an incredible atmosphere. What a good win for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They snapped a 7-game winning streak. How we feeling, Bucs Nation? It's time to party, baby.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Recher podcast, live from Benchmark International Arena ahead of tonight's big matchup between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers. It is not a Victory Monday. No, sir. It is kind of weird to be able to be on today, and we'll talk to Ian Beckles at 12:30. Buccaneers game on Thursday against the Atlanta Falcons. Still not feeling great about that, but buoyed by the performance by the New Orleans Saints yesterday, so somehow, some way, the Buccaneers still have a chance. This has just been such a crazy year in the National Football League where you think about just who wants to step up, who really wants to step up and be the best team. I don't know, man. It's kind of a wild one. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. I am everywhere. Like and subscribe as well on YouTube. We got to get to 2,000 subscribers by the end of December. Come on, baby. Do whatever you can to help out our final week of shows before we are done for the year. Of course, we will have our final show on Friday. It'll be from the home studio, and we will be doing our top 20 sports stars of Tampa Bay who had the best year this year in 2025 here in the Tampa Bay area. So that should be a lot of fun. We are polling the local media members of the Tampa Bay area, so we'll find out who is number one on the list. Could it be a guy like Baker Mayfield? Could it be a guy like Joe Urso? Could it be a guy like John Cooper? We will find out. Always want to hear from you. Questions, comments, concerns, leave them there at the bottom of the screen. If you want to join in on the conversation, just use the link that's right there in the chat. Whether you're on your phone, whether you're on the laptop, you can join in on the conversation. StreamYard.com/CGM3M8TWCQ. And like our guy Rolly says, kill that like button, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitter/X. What up to the Wrecking Crew? Yo, my guy, Honest Hammer. Please do not talk about keeping bowls when we back into a division win somehow. I beg you. Carlos Basura, what's up, Jay? Bucks out of hospice yesterday, now in intensive care. Have some life. Janet Best, one of the first ladies of the Wrecking Crew. Shout out to our best friends, the Saints, for giving us a chance. Now it's up to the Bucks. What's up, all? That was some great football yesterday, our guy Dolan. Yeah, some sad injuries, though, for sure. Patrick Mahomes tears his ACL. Kansas City Chiefs eliminated from playoff contention. It's going to be weird to not be able to see them in the postseason. Michael Parsons tears his ACL as well. You never want to see injuries like that, especially to some of the better players in the National Football League. But the big news yesterday, obviously, in the NFL with the Saints beating the Panthers on the last-second field goal gives the Buccaneers life. And now they win 2 out of their final 3 games, and they are in. Just got to beat the Panthers once. You got to beat the Dolphins in week 17, and you give yourselves a shot. Huge game on Sunday. With all the things we've been talking about for the Buccaneers, how bad it has been, the words from Todd Bowles, from Tristan Wirfs, and everybody around the Bay Area wondering if this is the beginning of the end for Todd Bowles. I mean, if they win 2 of these last 3, they're in the playoffs, man. And then it's like, you look at everybody else, and trust me, I was as harsh on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as anybody in the last 7 days. But it's just like, when you're watching this game and you're watching these other teams, does anybody look like world beaters out there? Not really. I mean, the Rams don't look like the team that smoked the Buccaneers, do they? It's weird, man. Get hot at the right time. As much as would I bet money on it? No, of course not. But if the Buccaneers could get hot in the last 3 weeks and go into the postseason riding on a wave, I mean, I don't know. Crazier things have happened. But Piss Missile Pete, you're right, man. I was on the baseball field yesterday saying, hey, man, it's nice to not have to worry about what's going on the football field with the Bucs not playing. Evans is back. Offense has to figure out a way to be near perfect. Hard to rely on their defense getting stops. You got that right, buddy. And we'll talk some Buccaneer football with our guy Ian Beckles. We'll also talk Atlanta Mendoza winning the Heisman. He joins us every Monday, like he does every Monday at 12:30. Our final chat with Ian on this podcast coming up today at 12:30. Of course, we have the final Beckles and Recher podcast coming up on Wednesday. That should be fun. Our lovely friend Diandra Loux is going to join us at 1 o'clock today from the Hockey News. She was here in the building a little while ago. We were watching Morning Skate. A lot of updates from John Cooper. You'll hear from him momentarily. But a big one tonight, Lightning and Panthers. Ooh, boy. Will there be some fisticuffs, some extracurricular activities, some brouhahas, some Donniebrooks? We'll see. An intense game last month down there in Sunrise at Amerant Bank Arena, but none of the big-time fights that we thought could happen. Will we see it tonight? Maybe. But I also think when you don't have Matthew Tkachuk in there, it takes a huge – he's one of the spiciest players on each of these two teams. He really stirs up the sauce when things get crazy between these two clubs. So him not being in there, maybe that helps. Maybe it hurts. I don't know. But Lightning got to get 2 points after only picking up one in that last game on Saturday against the Islanders. Hopefully they can get back to their winning ways. Again, guys, follow me on all social media platforms at @JRecher. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. Morning Skate today. Good to be out here. Happy birthday to Yanni Gord. 500th game for Nick Paul tonight. That should be a lot of fun. And we spoke with the head coach, John Cooper. Did he see my shoes? I don't think so. But he spoke at length about Yanni Gord, Nick Paul, and also some updates on injured Tampa Bay Lightning players. If you haven't heard what the updates are, you're going to get them right now from Coop himself, including Ryan McDonough, Andrei Vasilevsky, Emil Lilleborg, and more. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here is your head coach, your favorite head coach of our Tampa Bay Lightning, the one and only John Cooper.
So another day, another defenseman lands on IR. What are you going to miss with Emil not available?
Oh, strength, size, breakout ability. He can skate. He's a good defenseman in this league. That's another blow. So we're used to it, though. We'll have to just find a way.
I know you mentioned this a couple times, but I think there's only 3 guys who have appeared in every game so far this year. We're not even at Christmas. That it's been a revolving roster situation.
I don't even know who they are. Who are they?
Gensel, Gord, and Bjorkstrand.
Yeah. I don't even know how to answer that. It's a lot of man games.
Well,
anyway, what can you do? The teams get hurt. It's just a weird year because I think there's a lot of talk about the condensed schedule and stuff like that, but I have really nothing to do with it. We've played the same amount of games, what are we, 30, 31 games, same amount of days, within a day or two. So I think it's, I'm not sure, I don't know an answer for it. We've looked into everything of, why guys are getting hurt, and it's hard when it's just a lot of random stuff, whether it's a shot block or another player falling on somebody. I mean, those are tough things to, it's all happening in one year. And, the positive side of things is the boys are staying afloat and we've kept ourselves relevant. And I think, the players go, especially a lot of the guys that have come up, get a lot of credit for keeping us, as I said, in the standings where we want to be.
John Johansson tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Is Vasilevsky still trending?
Yeah, he was, again, I was hoping he was going to play on the road trip. He didn't. So now I'm hoping he plays before Christmas.
I was talking to Yanni about his birthday, and he reminded me I'd forgotten that he made his NHL debut on his birthday. Do you remember that? And could you have imagined when he came up on his birthday, he made his NHL debut, that he would turn into the player that he became?
Dave, I don't remember what I had for breakfast.
You tend to remember stuff like that, though. London came up the same game, he said. He thought it was his birthday, too.
God, what year would that have been?
2015, he said. The game at Toronto.
In Toronto, yeah.
Game in Toronto, 2015. Wow. That was, God, Yanni Gord's been around that long. It doesn't feel like it.
Even before then, because he was playing in the minors.
Yeah. And he plays with the energy of somebody half his age. I'll tell you that. But if you want to talk about success stories, let alone the storybook part of coming up on your birthday, but for somebody that went through the trials and tribulations of other leagues before he got here, and then having to work through not being the biggest player on the ice in a game where there are a lot of big players, and he's found his way to not only survive in the league but be a Stanley Cup champion. It's good on him. Just his character and his drive to be the best is it's as good as I've ever seen in any player.
Nick Paul's playing game number 500 today and tonight, and he was mentioning that there was one point earlier in his career back in Ottawa, he thought he was done and going on to Europe, and here he is playing game number 500. Has become a core player for you. Tell us what you've admired about his emergence as a key player for this team.
Yeah, Paul, he's another one. He's got that. He's a big, tall guy. He's a presence, and he's got sneaky good hands for a big man like that. And he's always. You see Nick Paul, and you just pencil in 20 plus because you're going to get that from him. And so you start ticking down the centers in your lineup, and you get to a 6'4" center that can play, and whether he's playing third or fourth line, whatever he's doing, he can play up and down the lineup. He makes everybody better, and it's funny to me to think that he thought he might not be in the league because our perception is he's a really solid NHL player. But I think the big thing with Paulie too is the life he brings in the locker room, and he's a pretty witty guy, so he's fun to have around. But when game times comes, he switch it into game mode, and it's good for him. 500, it's a good feat.
How close is Mac?
I'd say Mac's day to day. Not playing tonight, but it'll be day to day after this.
And the timeline on Lillard right now?
Not day to day. I would say, I'd love to get him back before the Olympic break. I don't know if that'll happen. So he's going to be a few weeks.
So there you have it, Head Cooper. Man, that just sucks for Emil Lillibert because I know he was much maligned in the beginning of the season. I know it pissed a lot of people off. I get it. But, man, he was really coming into his own. I think he had a really good chemistry with Charles-Edouard Destou. Steven Santini got called up today, so he's going to obviously be in there. Declan Carlisle's here. So, McDonough's not playing tonight. So you're going to have Hedman – excuse me. You're going to have Moser, and you'll have Darren Radish, so we'll hear from him in a second. Then you'll have Max Crozier. Who am I forgetting? Who am I forgetting? Help me. Oh, Destou. So Destou will play with Crozier, and then Declan Carlisle and Santini. Okay, so those are the 6 for tonight. You'll have Moser and Radish. You'll have Destou and God, why do I keep forgetting? Declan Carlisle, Steven Santini, Edmund Moser. I keep saying Hemmon. Oh, my God. I am already in vacation mode. Moser and Radish. Boom. Right? Yes. Moser, Radish. Destou and Crozier. Declan Carlisle and Steven Santini. I'm not going to say it again because I'm probably going to screw it up. So too damn bad. Michael says, so Eddie Insine was definitely lying when he said he hadn't seen the new stadium jersey. Judah immediately went for the grainy photo and lack of intricate detail. He definitely knew what to look at. Of course. But he wasn't wrong. Jersey does look considerably better with all the details you can't see in the crappy Reddit league. Yeah, you're not wrong. I don't think it's as bad as everybody says it is. And when things come out, people either love it or they hate it. I don't think it's ever as bad as people say. Not too bad at all. A guy that's been on freaking fire as of late is Darren Radish. He's been insane. This guy just continues to score goals. I try to get him to say, hey, what about tonight? Big game against the Panthers. I don't know. I wonder if there's going to be some fisticuffs or if it's just if this is kind of blown over a little bit. We'll see. Here's what Ratty had to say after morning skate today.
Trying at the net. I've been pretty fortunate to hear one in these last couple games, and I'm just trying to find the lanes and trying to throw pucks on net as much as possible.
What about that short side? It didn't look like there was much space, and you were able to find a way home there.
Yeah. Just like I said, threw that on net, and I kind of knew it was in, and everyone kind of stopped, so I just kind of kept selling it just so that the play would end, because I didn't know if they were going to keep playing or not. And kind of didn't want to back check, so that's kind of how it went in.
You were the first person that saw the win in, pretty much, right?
Yeah. I knew it was in, and I just started selling it. I was taking it.
What did you take? Obviously emotions tonight, playing this team, familiar history. Anticipate any kind of extra stuff? I know it was a lot of tension in the first game without a lot of the extracurricular stuff, but you always got to kind of stay on your guard when you're playing against a team that kind of butts up against the line there.
No, I think it's going to be a good hockey game. It's going to be hard like it always is, and we're excited to play, and I'm sure they are too. So, it'll be a good game tonight, and definitely want to watch for sure.
What makes this rivalry so special?
The only two teams in Florida. We've gone to 3 years in a row before them, and now they've gone 3 in a row. So I think just two good teams going at it, and a good hard-fought hockey game.
There you go. Our guy, Darren Radish, getting a chance to talk to him after the game or after morning skate today. He's ready to roll for tonight. Just keep shooting the puck, man. You keep shooting the puck, this team's going to be in good shape to be able to do some big things. Selfishly, do I want there to be some extracurriculars tonight? Yeah, I think it makes it more fun. These two teams clearly don't like each other. There was a lot of tension in that first game down at Amarin Bank Arena in Sunrise. You're going to have Scott Sabrin in the lineup tonight. You're going to have Curtis Douglas in the lineup tonight. We'll see. We shall see if the fireworks will fly off here at Benchmark International Arena. Going back to what John Cooper had to say about some of the injuries, pretty sad about Emil Lilleberg. And he said, hopefully back by the Olympic break. I don't know offhand right now if Norway's in there. I think they are. But he was going to be one of their best players. So the fact that he's not going to be available until then is worrisome for him. And, I know when we got the news from Victor Hedman a couple of days ago about him, hopefully he'll be back for the Olympics. We know how much it means to him. And for those people that want to get on the players because they put such a precedence and an importance on playing for their country, hockey's different, man. It's different. It's not as big as soccer when it comes to putting the country before a club, but it's up there for hockey. It's not the same for these other sports. You don't hear these hockey guys, worrying about the millions of dollars that they're getting paid from their teams here, because of how important it is to play for their country. Now, if you want to have the conversation of should they be playing in the Olympics, should they be playing in something that's in the middle of the NHL season, I think that's probably a fair discussion. I know Phil Esposito is not thrilled about that at all. He thinks it's absurd that these guys take a break in the middle of the season to go play for their country. I'm like, Phil, you play for Canada, but he was like, yeah, it was before the season though. Didn't interfere with my play for the Bruins. I said, all right, well, I get why you're saying that. But it's important for these guys to represent their country in a best-on-best tournament. I know for a fact guys like Pasternak and Leon Draisaitl, I remember watching them at the All-Star game in the press conference, and everybody was so excited about the four nations. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, man, for the Czechs and for the Germans, they're like, what do we care about the four nations? Thank you, Michael. Norway barely missed it. They were eliminated in qualifications by the Danish. Lille played that game against Bjorkstrand. It was a tight one. Okay, so sucks for Lily. It would have been great to see him and Matt Zuccarello and some of those other guys. And it seemed like he and SRQ, Tom, you're right on it, man. Lilleberg was logging a lot of minutes. Also definitely seemed like he was on the ascent. Yeah, and I think he's just one of those guys. You got to remember he's young, and these defensemen, sometimes it takes, 150, 200, 250 games. We've heard that before. Victor Hedman wasn't Victor Hedman when he first came in the National Hockey League. So we can't forget that. And it also seems like Lilleberg plays better with certain partners. He played really well with Max Crozier. And then when Max wasn't up here so much last year, Lilleberg didn't have as much consistency. And now you're seeing him when he was playing on that second pairing with Charles-Edouard Destoux. Like it just, those guys it was like peanut butter and jelly. It's worked out really, really well. So hopefully when we look at a situation like Emil Lilleberg, when he comes back, he'll be ready to fire on all cylinders. But Ryan McDonough should be back over in the next couple of games, hopefully in the next 10 days for Andrei Vasilevsky. And we know Victor Hedman's going to be out for a couple months as well. So John Cooper and the crew are ready. It's been all year long that they've been dealing with this. So nothing new there. Okay, I wanted to talk about this because I was thinking about this last night. Ian Beckles again joins us at 12:30. But before we get to Ian, I wanted to have this discussion because, as you know, I was one of the staunch supporters when it came to sticking with Todd Bowles going into this season. And one of the things that, as we were having this conversation, and listen, when new information comes out, you better address it. And I listen, I don't care if I'm wrong, right? It's not about being right all the time. Nobody's going to be right at all the time. And I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. I have no problem admitting that things happen and changing my beliefs based on new information that presents itself. It is what it is. I'm going to give you my opinion based on the best of the information that I have and, my experience of covering sports in this area for over a decade. And I'm thinking to myself last night, because I was one of the big defenders of Todd Bowles, should the Bucks have done a better job of trying to retain Liam Coen at all costs? Should they have told him that he was going to be the head coach in waiting? Should they have given him that opportunity and that heads up before he went for the Jacksonville job? And of course, was it a little shady? I mean, it is what it is. That's in the past. And I know there's going to be people out there that all along thought that Liam Coen should have been the guy and that they should have got rid of Todd Bowles. I'm not talking to those people today because, listen, you're already on that path. But if you were more on my side of the argument, when you look back at it now, are there any regrets? Are there any regrets that they didn't do a better job of trying to retain Liam Coen? Because I think if the Buccaneers flounder here, it would be real nice to know that they probably don't flounder here because of the job that he did as the offensive coordinator. I mean, you look at what he's done in Jacksonville. They're 10-4, and they just beat the dog crap out of the Jets. And I know they're the Jets, but you look at Trevor Lawrence, and I saw this, and he's on my fantasy team. Thank God for Trevor Lawrence. I mean, my fantasy team, who's lost 5 games this year, I think, by 3 points, we put up 310. Trevor Lawrence had 56 points. How about it? How about your boy? And that offense and the way that they've been able to win some tough games this year, you got to give Liam Coen credit. And there's a couple of things that goes into my rationale of bringing this topic up. Because one, the Liam Coen staying on as the Buccaneers head coach, let's say if they would have moved on from Todd Bowles and they would have promoted Liam Coen, there was no way to know that this team would be as resilient as we've seen them be in the last couple of years when they go on that midseason swoon, right? There's no way that we would be able to tell if that locker room wouldn't fracture like we haven't really seen. It was an unknown. And sometimes, and we see this in life, sometimes it's the devil you do versus the devil that you don't. And we had no proof of concept when it came to Liam Coen. Now, if Liam Coen was the head coach here, would they have the same success as they did last year? If Liam Coen was the head coach this year, would they have the same success that the Jaguars have had this year? We don't know that for sure. But I think early on in the season, it was very easy to say the Buccaneers made the right choice. But as the season has gone on, I got to be honest with you. As somebody that defended Todd Bowles, it crept into my mind last night. It crept into my mind, and I started thinking about it. What if the Buccaneers made the wrong choice? What if the Buccaneers didn't do a good enough job of trying to retain Liam Coen? And maybe it's not having him be the head coach this year. But what if it was, hey, we're going to make you the highest paid coordinator in the game, and we're going to make you in your contract the coach in waiting, kind of like what we saw with Gerard Mayo in New England. It's hard to have that conversation. Well, it's not as hard to have that conversation now as opposed to 6-7 weeks ago, because you see what he's done in Jacksonville. 10-4. I don't know if anybody saw that coming. Shit, they still got 3 games to go. You're talking about a team that could finish 13-4. When both of those teams are going in opposite directions, it's impossible not to bring that topic of conversation up. Whether you agree, whether you disagree, and again, you know where my stance was all along. But I'm also privy to the fact that I've never seen what I saw Thursday night when I'm standing there in the bowels of Raymond James Stadium and I see Mike Evans clanking his helmet off of one of the security monitors and just mumbling to himself, 3rd and 28, 3rd and 28, 3rd and 28. We never saw that before. I never saw in my time of covering this team, this Todd Bowles team, I never saw guys running off the field before the game. The game was probably right over but those guys could not get out of there quick enough. And we did not see any of them in the locker room. So Bucky Irving was the first guy. See ya. Rashad White. See ya. Sean Tucker. See ya. Mike Evans. See ya. 4 guys. Boom. Right off the field. They could not stand to watch. Whether you got a problem with it, whether you don't, it's the facts. Those guys could not get out of there quick enough, and none of them spoke after the game. None. They could not leave fast enough. The only guys that I remember over the years that did that were Deshaun Jackson, maybe some of the older guys like a Richard Sherman and Julio Jones. They just wanted to get up, get out. You know, they were at the tail end of their career, though. So what were they going to say, right? But there's a lot of questions when it comes to this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. 3 games left on the schedule. You got to win 2 out of 3. Carolina, are you going to sweep both? I'm not putting my, would always ask, would you bet your house on that? No, not at all. But crazier things have happened. And when you watch the NFL this year, you don't know what you're going to see. Injuries have happened. It's not just the Buccaneers. That's why I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks. Everybody's complaining about the Bucs and their injuries and blah, blah. Bro, the injuries are happening to everybody. Everybody. Burrow missed the beginning of the year. Lamar missed the beginning of the year. Parsons tears his ACL yesterday. Patrick Mahomes tears his ACL yesterday. Like, this is what happens. This is the National Football League. Part of it is luck. Part of it is going through the season and not having big-time injuries to your primetime players. That's part of the gig. We've seen this in the past. We saw that one year with the New England Patriots when Brady got hit. And ironically enough, I think it was in season 9, just like Patrick Mahomes. But his was in the beginning of the season. Remember, Matt Castle filled in for him admirably and then got paid from it. That was kind of a crazy season. But other than that, did a pretty good job of staying relatively healthy. You look at some of the other quarterbacks over time. I mean, up until later on in his career, Peyton Manning, relatively healthy. Eli Manning had that long streak of games until he got taken out for Geno Smith. So that's what happens in the National Football League. More times often than not, you're losing big-time players due to injuries. It happened to Joe Burrow. It happened to Adrian Peterson, right? You think about it. You go up and down. and look at the injuries that Mike Evans has sustained, Chris Godwin. Like, this is just the way it goes. Sometimes you have to just kind of tread water and hope that some of the injuries that you're getting are more of the, all right, can we get them to the, if they're 4 to 6 weeks rather than season ending? That's kind of what you're hoping for if you're a fan of an NFL team. But if you're sitting there and you're bitching and moaning about guys missing time, like that's just going to happen. It's going to happen. And again, started this little segment talking about Liam Coen and Todd Bowles. Things do change. Things do change, and you have to address them. And do I think things would be different here with Liam Coen? I think it's impossible to tell. But these are completely different situations. Liam Coen there in Jacksonville worked out pretty damn well for him. 10-4. First place in the AFC South. Right now, Todd Bowles, we could be looking at the beginning of the end of his tenure as the head coach. And as both of those teams go in opposite directions, people having those conversations and making that argument that the Buccaneers should have stuck with Liam Coen in some form or fashion gains a little bit more credibility. Is it a short thing? No. but it's certainly a topic of conversation when you see how well the Jags are doing and how poorly the Buccaneers are. All right, let's bring him in for the final time this season. Our good pal. He's happy as a Hoosier. Our good buddy, Ian Beckles. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I am well. The studio looking better and better every week, man. Chris is adding something more. It looks great, man.
Yeah, you got a lot of bells and whistles around here. He's always a lot of toys and trinkets. I just get the benefit from it.
There you go, buddy. I know you were just tuning into what I was saying. You and I were both on the pump the brakes side when it comes to being so quick to get rid of Todd Bowles. But when you see Trevor Lawrence, he put up 56 fantasy points for me yesterday, win number 10 for the Jags. You're gonna hear more. You're gonna hear those people that were saying, "Hey, you should have got rid of Bowles to bring Coen." I don't know if it's easy to say, "Oh, it would definitely be different," but it's a different scenario. It'd be different for Liam if he was here, right? We don't know if he'd have the same success, but man, it's kind of hard not to think, even for us. What if they would have stayed with Liam Coen? Would the offense have more continuity if he was still here?
Yeah, I mean, this week, yeah.
This week.
I mean, 6 weeks ago, no. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to be the guy to change my narrative every 4 weeks.
No.
And I'm not the guy that even brought up Liam Coen.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was the right timing. It didn't make sense to me.
Right.
It didn't make sense. Like, I'm happy for him going on and having success. Personally, I think it has nothing to do with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It has nothing to do with the Buccaneers. It just means he's a good coach. We figured that out last year. Congratulations, move on, have some success. If he was here, we may not have a win. We don't know. You don't know how that goes.
It could be worse. Yeah,
Exactly.
Change isn't always for the better. I just thought, as I'm thinking last night, I'm like, man, what if, right? Like, we don't know for sure. Like, well, it's impossible to ever know, but when you look at him with 10 wins and then you look at where the Buccaneers are at, I'm like, oh, those people that thought that, those noises are only going to get louder if these two teams still go in those opposite direction over these last 3 games. But it is what it is. We're what, 1, 2, 3, we're about 4 or 5 days removed from that game on Thursday night. Beck, now that we've had time to kind of swallow what happened, what's kind of your overall takeaway from that loss to the Falcons?
I was hoping it was going to get better, but it hasn't.
No, it hasn't, has it?
Like, what you're talking about now, you're 100% right with the Liam Coen thing and talk about our old coordinators having success, Canales, and where we are as a Buccaneer organization right now. It's kind of like the way the Giants were last year where, listen, Saquon, it was probably a good move to let Saquon go still to this day, okay? But it just looked bad, the timing of it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's where the Buccaneers are right now. It just the timing of everything looks real bad, okay? Right. And if you talk about Todd Bowles and defending Todd Bowles, I've never really defended Todd Bowles. I just said I don't think he should be fired. Mm-hmm. And if you're asking me right now, should Todd Bowles be fired? I can't say no. I'm not in the locker room. I don't know what's going on. Right. I hate for people outside the locker room to tell me that he's losing the locker room. Because that happens all the time and it bothers the hell out of me. But right now, the Buccaneers aren't hitting on all cylinders. And unfortunately, it has to fall on the head coach and the general manager. Like at the end of this, if they don't figure out a way to turn this around in the next three games, forget about me or you or what we think. The organization is going to have to make a move. And it's either you get rid of the players, the GM, or the head coach. There's really nothing else you can do.
You can't get rid of all the players. You know what I mean? And that's the thing is, like, the players didn't automatically just get bad. Do they have to play better? Yes. But I don't know, man. Like, the thing that bothers me about the whole Todd Bowles situation is you kind of knew what they were going to do in Bijan and Kyle Pitts. Like, that's when they've played well. Kirk Cousins against the Buccaneers. Like, Bill Belichick's big thing was, I'm not going to let the best player on the other team beat me. You can beat me, but I'm not going to let that guy beat me. And if you're a defensive-minded head coach like Todd Bowles and you can't stop anything, like, eventually it's going to cost you your job, whether you think it's fair or not, whether it's on the players or not. Right, Beck? I mean, you look at it, he's a defensive-minded head coach, and to be able to have Kirk Cousins look like MVP of Matt Ryan and Kyle Pitts look like the reincarnation of Tony Gonzalez, like, you can't fire all 11 guys on defense. And I find it hard to believe that Vita Vea and Hassan Reddick and Levante David and Antoine Winfield Jr. and Jamel Dean, like, all these guys, now they suck. You know what I mean? Like, you can't get rid of them all, even if they have gotten worse. It's not, this equation does not add up well for Todd.
I agree. And, when you look at this defense as of right now, and I think we brought this up the other day, I think a lot of people that have the C's on their chest are not playing that way. And I think that's one of the big reasons why we are where we are, unfortunately. And, looking at Todd Bowles, and if you ask me what's the reason why the Buccaneers aren't winning this year, boy, it's deep, man. It's not just
It's
this.
not just one thing.
No
it's not
way.
Just one thing.
It may be 20, Jay.
Yeah.
It may be 20, and that's not good. When you talk about figuring things out, if you have a list of 20 things you need to take care of, that's a lot worse than having 2 things. 2 things you can take care of. 20 things is hard because that costs money that you don't have to spend. Like you said, you can't just flip. Everybody says we got to flip this roster. How the hell you flip a roster? It's impossible. If you cut all the guys we have, then there's dead money, there's cap money, then we bring in lesser players. It's not a possibility. So next year, whoever is at the helm, a lot of the 80% of this team is going to be right about the same. But it scares me a little bit listening to what Todd Bowles was saying, listening to Levante David and his demeanor. It's something is off.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I'm not there. But you can tell when people mean things, okay? And
right.
And Levante David was telling us things in between some of the words that he was using. And I'm not quite sure what it is, but what he's telling us is this is the beginning of the end. Okay, I think Levante David knows what it looks like.
Oh, and it ain't in it. That ain't it.
And Todd Bowles knows what it looks like. And they're both telling us after that game, that ain't it. And I'm telling you, I don't know what it looks like, but I do know this. That ain't it.
Let's go back. Remember when Baker Mayfield, and we compared it to Tua? Remember when he was saying that guys need to focus better during the week? You kind of start thinking about it, Beck, right? You may not have liked that, but it kind of tells you something. Why he would say that, why they would bring a JPP back and talk about what he brings. When you're talking about guys not having juice, guys not having energy, like, again, Todd deserves his fair share. But there's got to be something where guys, maybe they've gotten fat cat syndrome, right? They got paid. They're not giving it their all. They're not really uncovering they're not turning over every stone in practice, trying to get better. Like, it just seems like there's some complacency with this team. And you just asked, number of things. Bro, it's not just one. Complacency is 1. Baker's play is 2. The offensive line being banged up is 3. How about the lack of a pass rush is 4. The injuries to your wideouts is 5. The lack of speed at the linebacker position is 6. How about your guys in the secondary is 7? Like, the new play caller in Josh Gazard is 8. That's 8 different things without even really thinking about it, Beck. Forget about one thing when people say, oh, if you fix this one thing. That's 8 things without even taking a deep dive of what's wrong with this team.
Yeah, and when you go back to what Tua said, and I brought this up, what Tua spoke on, people in the locker room know who he's speaking about.
Exactly.
When Todd Bowles said what he said after the game, people in the locker room know who he's speaking about. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm telling you there's something funky going on, because everybody can smile and it's all kumbaya. But we're not hearing everything. And this is not me saying he's lost the locker room, but there's something funky going on to where not everybody's on the same page. And it's clear. It's clear because I think everybody's kind of like, it's not my fault, it's your fault. Whose fault is it? And everybody's waiting for somebody else to stop it. And you can say that you go into Atlanta game knowing what they're going to do, and you're right. But here's the thing, Jay. I would ask you, what do you need to stop that? And I bet the Bucs don't have it defensively. They don't have anything defensively to stop anything. Right. So I think we have issues, brother.
Yeah, and I didn't like what Todd had to say of, oh, well, Zion McCollum was going to be our guy that's going to stop Kyle Pitts. Neither. And then when he went down, I go, wait a second. Multifaceted ways I didn't like that. 1, Zion has played progressively worse as the season has gone by. And 2, you don't have a backup plan? There's no contingency? that your corner, and that's why it's like your number one corner was supposed to be the guy covering the tight end. Like it were so many things. It didn't smell right when he was talking about that. And the fact that there's no plan B, like that's not good, man. And I think that's part of the reason why I'm like, man, Todd, like you're not making it easy for yourself. You can say the players aren't playing well, but if you're putting it out there that, this defense and this was your plan, and you didn't have a backup plan and you get torched, like ultimately you're the decision maker, man. The buck stops with you.
And I don't want to hear you talk about a philosophy of next man up, and then when this happens, you use an excuse. I don't want to hear about it. I mean,
Right.
It's a philosophy that cannot change. Like regardless, if you're fifth string, eighth string, it doesn't matter. It's the next man up, and that's it. So, and look, Zion McCollum, it seems like when Zion McCollum comes on the field, the quarterback's reporting at him.
Mm-hmm.
There he is, and it seems like they're going at Zion McCollum seriously. So, I don't want to hear any one guy on that Bucs defense makes much of a difference right now.
That's why you have to make a drastic move with JPP, right? Like
I don't even think that's a drastic move, Jay. I'll be honest with you.
It's desperate. It's desperate.
It's okay. I'll give you desperate. I'll give not drastic though, because I'm gonna let you know between now and the end of the season, he will have done nothing on the field. That wasn't a field thing. No way. You're not bringing a guy off his couch with 4 weeks left as a defensive lineman to think that he's going to give anything other than what he's giving in that locker room. Okay?
So what does that say? Again, we've talked about this on our podcast on Wednesday and last week. So what does that say about Todd Bowles? What does that say about his coaching staff? What does that say about the players? If you have to go get a guy that hasn't even been here in 2 or 3 years, this is like that's like the Lightning going, hey, you know what? Pat Maroon, you haven't played all year long. Come join our team because we don't have enough toughness. We don't have enough intestinal fortitude here. It's the same thing. What does that say about the Lightning wouldn't do that? Why? Because they have John Cooper behind the bench. Because they have Anthony Cirelli. They have Victor Hedman. They have Ryan McDonough. They don't need somebody like Patrick Maroon. If they did that, that would be alarm bells. And I think that's where we're at right now with the Bucs.
Listen, once again, JPP, when he was signed, and I looked up and I saw his picture of the thing, and I go, Bucs signed JPP. And I stood there and I thought for a second, I was like, I don't even have an emotion. I love JPP as a player.
That's the thing.
I couldn't believe he came back after his injuries, and beforehand he was a great player, great attitude, all that kind of stuff. But if you ask me what the Bucs need to get to the next level, it's not a 55-year-old defensive lineman who's done nothing in the last 5 years. I mean, that's not. And if that's it, we're not close to anything.
No.
Well, give me a player. I need a player that's going to play on Sunday and make a difference. I don't want to hear about all that leadership crap when we ain't got good football players on the field. Leadership is overrated when you don't have good football players.
Mr. Wright wants to know, Ian, what is your opinion on Vita Vea this year? We've been speaking about him a lot, and one of the things that I mentioned on our podcast on Wednesday was for all the people out there that are saying, oh, well, Vita, he's getting double and triple teamed every play. He's not. He's not. You got to watch the game. He's not getting double and triple teamed every single time. I know you mentioned last week he makes one play a game. That's the big thing with him. What did you notice from him, or what did you not see from him Thursday night against Atlanta?
Well, first of all, when you're talking about a nose guard, even if he weighs 200 pounds, and he weighs 360 or 350, even if he weighs 200 pounds, he would still get double teamed the exact same amount because you don't change your blocking assignments for a specific player. The nose guard gets double teamed on 80% of the plays. That's the way it goes. It's not him being treated any special. It's just not, okay? Vita Vea makes 2 Superman type plays every game to where you go, oh my God, look at him. How can he be blocked? And that's it. He don't do nothing the rest of the game. I've never seen a hustle play. I mean, and that's something that's really bothering me because I'm used to the Buccaneers of old, 99, beginning of 2000, and that was all hustle. Vita Vea's hustle would stand out, and that defense as lollygagging, okay? Because sometimes I see him jogging out there, and the only reason why they allow it is because the rest of them aren't sprinting. Back in the day, he'd have stuck out like a sore thumb. So, I mean, I know what it looks like, and it hasn't equated to anything, I'll tell you that.
No, not at all. I mean, what player on defense has played well this year? What player on defense?
Tyke,
Now he's hurt.
I mean, the answer is nobody, okay? And I even had a conversation with Pat Aaron the other day. They're like, Tyke's good. I go, Tyke's good for a rookie. Tyke's good for a rookie. Do yourself a favor. Anytime you want to call a player good, put him on one of the Buccaneers Super Bowl teams and see if you still call him good.
Right.
Okay? That's real, okay? There's teams out there, if you put Tyke in that Super Bowl team, he's a 10th best defensive player. So that's where we are right now.
Yeah, that's not good. Not good at all. So getting a chance to watch the Raise the Flags documentary, you were featured prominently in the second episode. What was it like to be a part of something like that, man?
I mean, it was cool. It was sometime early this year, I believe they interviewed us. A lot of guys that I know didn't get interviewed, like Tony Mayberry didn't get interviewed. I
Surprise.
thought he would. But it was cool. It was a long interview. I haven't got a chance to watch it yet. I thought about sitting down and watching a little bit today. But it looked like it was shot very well.
Yeah.
My dignitary shirt was nice and clean. I like that.
Yeah, it was.
But I want to sit down and watch it, and I'll give you my what I think about it. But it was cool being part of it, though. It's always an honor to be asked to do something like that.
Yeah, I love that they had a couple of good blocks for you on there, buddy. One wasn't so great, and I was like, come on, man, you can't be doing my guy Ian Beckles like that. He got you in
that was Brad Culpepper, I think. Give me a little swim.
That wasn't appropriate at all. I didn't really appreciate that. But everything else looked good. But it's kind of crazy to think about where we are with the Buccaneers, right? Like you look at and you watch that whole thing with Leroy Selman and how bad this team was, and then getting up into the first Super Bowl team. You know, I'm about 2 episodes in, and now where we are, it's been kind of wild to see the transformation for the Bucks to the Yucks to now like being one of the teams where at least they're in the conversation, right? Back like, yeah, as much as we're upset about the season because there's 3 games, they still have a chance to make the playoffs. Like I wouldn't bet my house on it, right? But I look at everybody else in the NFL. There's not a lot of great teams out there.
No, there isn't, and a lot of teams would probably switch with us right now because we do still have a chance. And now that I think about it, both of my teams, whether it be the Indiana Hoosiers or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I heard that Indiana was the losingest team in college football, and Tampa Bay was the losingest team in sports. So where the hell did I get set to? So, yeah, man, there's a lot of coming up to do.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And your guy Mendoza wins the Heisman Trophy. Yeah. How cool was that, man? First Indiana Hoosier to win it.
Well, I mean, that hurts my heart because Anthony Thompson should have won it. We should have won in '89. That hurts my heart. But if you want to see an example of the perfect way to act and the worst way to act.
Oh, my God.
Mendoza / Pavia. Pavia, I mean, I don't know much about the kid. I watched him play. He got a little Manziel in him. He got too much Manziel in him.
Too much. You got too much Manziel in him.
That was asinine. F the voters. F the voters. Bro. The only way a 5'10" quarterback can make it is one way. There's only one way. If he's uber mature.
Yes.
And he
squeaky clean.
Doug Flutie.
Yep.
Uber mature.
Russell Wilson. Yeah.
Uber mature.
Yeah. Drew Brees.
This kid, bye-bye. I wouldn't
no chance.
I wouldn't draft him in the 7th round. No way.
I wouldn't sign him to the practice squad. I want no part of that guy. Get out of here.
Nope.
He's definitely got way too much Johnny Manziel on him. It is
way too much.
What other games did you watch yesterday in the NFL?
I watched the end of that Saints Carolina game.
And, my God.
Football's crazy, man.
It is, man.
I literally said to my boy today, I got on my counter show. I looked at Gio. I go, I'm done betting. I'm not doing it no more. The NFL's crazy. Like it's so unpredictable, and if I say this is not going to happen, it's probably going to happen. It's almost like politics now.
You're right. Oh my God, bro. I just I don't know what the hell to believe. And that's why, like, as much as I look at this Buccaneers team and I go, I'm not, you know, I don't trust that they're going to do anything positive. But Beck, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I watched the Rams. I'm like, I'm not too impressed by them these last couple of weeks. I mean, who do you beat? Like, they've beaten the Eagles before. I know it wasn't this year. They've beaten the Lions before. I mean, what if the Bucs go on a streak? Like, what if they catch themselves, right? What if JPP doesn't make a difference? Like, crazier things have happened. I'm not betting on it, but I mean, they go up to Carolina and win this game against the Panthers. Like, they're probably gonna be in the playoffs. That's crazy to think.
No, they win against the Panthers. They probably are going to be in the playoffs.
Right.
But
I don't know. I have no idea.
Jay,
The NFL.
Jay, what the hell
crazy.
are we expecting? What is the ceiling of a team that just lost to the two worst teams in football at their house? What is the ceiling of that? I don't get it. We haven't beaten anybody in a long time, brother. It's been a long time.
Beat the Cardinals.
We haven't beaten anybody in a long time, brother.
They beat the Jacoby Brissett-led Cardinals, and it was ugly. I mean, think about, there's been some ugly Buccaneers football this year. For a team that can make the playoffs, this could be one of the ugliest seasons for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the last 20 years, and they might make the playoffs. Think about that.
There's a chance a team makes it with a 7-10 record.
Oh, my God.
Is that possible?
No, I don't think so, because they got to win 2 out of 3.
Okay, probably 8. Yeah.
8 and 9. No, they got to be. They got to be 9 and 8. They got to be 9 and 8. Yeah, because obviously if they lose those games, it'll be to Carolina.
Okay, they both got 7 wins right now.
But still, you look at them and you're like, oh my God, what the hell, man? I don't know. What do you expect from Baker Mayfield going forward? He's another guy. He took all the onus of the responsibility, and I said this the other day. I wanted to hear your sentiments on it. It's not that Baker is, playing awful, but it just seems like when he's making his mistakes, they're at the worst possible time. They're on 3rd down. They're late in the game. He's throwing a pick at the wrong time. Like, it just seems like it's not how many, it's when he's making them. And I don't, and I know we talk about like the demeanor shouldn't matter for a guy like Todd Bowles, but we're also not seeing that same fiery, passionate Baker Mayfield in the second half of the season, are we?
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with you on this one. I think if Baker Mayfield didn't have the first half of the season that he had, and say you race last year, and we just put him into the last 6 games, we'd be saying he'd be playing terrible.
Right.
Like his numbers are terrible. His numbers are terrible. He don't have a high percentage. We're turning the ball over. We're not winning. We're not really not driving the ball. We're not getting first downs. He's just not playing well for me. I think we fell so in love with him before. And listen, we all love Baker as a person and a competitor. I think we temper it a little bit because we like the person. But let's forget about liking the person. Let's talk about evaluating the game of football.
Right.
The last 5 games especially, Baker Mayfield is not playing well, dude. I mean, I'm talking about reads. I'm talking about decision-making. I'm talking about throws. I'm talking about a lot of stuff. It just hasn't looked good. It doesn't mean he can't flip it again. But if Baker Mayfield plays the way he's played the last 5 games, we probably won't win another game this year.
Rank in order of who's going to be back next year: Grizzard, Bowles, and Baker. Best chance to come back is Baker, right? And then Grizzard, Bowles. What do you think?
I say Baker, Grizzard, Bowles. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Grizzard, it wouldn't make much sense to get rid of Grizzard now, would it? So, if Baker's coming back, Grizzard will come back, and I wouldn't once again. I don't have Bowles on the cutting block yet. Season's not over.
But you don't not have him on there.
If the season ended today, I think there's a good chance he gets fired.
Yeah. If they don't make the playoffs, I think he's done.
I think you might be right.
Yeah. Beck, what's going on at the Dignitary Cafe, my friend?
Same old dog. Come and enjoy the Hoosier paraphernalia that we have. We're a Buccaneer bar and also a Hoosier bar, obviously. And best kava and kratom in town. You know that. Good atmosphere. You know that.
You got that right. 4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard. Go check them out. Best kava and kratom in town. Ian joins us every Monday at 12:30. This is our last appearance with Ian, my last week of shows before I hit the road on vacation. The Recher family sends their love. They're very happy about Indiana. I
Where
told
you
you the other
going
day.
next week? Where you at next month?
I'm out of here, baby. You know me.
Yeah.
I go up for 2 weeks. So
Yeah, you do.
we'll be cheering at the Recher house. We'll be cheering for Indiana. We've adopted the Hoosiers as our team up there at the Recher Riviera. So we got your back, no doubt about it. Ian and I, our final Beckles and Recher podcast will be Wednesday from the Dignitary Cafe. So we'll be hanging out there. And you still playing college football?
Yeah, I'm not streaming it. We're gonna get back into it soon. But my game getting nice though. My game
nice. We should try to. Are you gonna stream it all this week or no?
I can.
We should stream Wednesday because I don't have a baseball anymore. We should stream Wednesday after our podcast. And I'll be like,
game?
Yeah, no, I'm not playing, but I'll be their cheerleader. I'll be like,
Why can't you play?
I'll talk shit to the other team. We've done this before. 49-0. No, let's not forget 49-0 in football, I think it was, and 7-1 in hockey. This is where Ian and I stay in our lane.
No doubt.
We stay in our lanes. Beck, appreciate it every single week, man. You're the best. I'll talk to you on Wednesday. You're the man.
All right, brother. Peace.
One love to the one and only Ian Beckles. Yeah, you got to check out Raise the Flags. Ian's in there looking good with the Dignitary shirt on, crushing it. Really, really good stuff. All right. Bro, you should see me in Madden. I get pissed, man, because guys take too damn long. I'm not a Madden or a college. I play on my own, but playing against people and they're doing all the pre-snap motion shit. Like I'm not. That's not me. I don't want to do it. Just snap the ball. Let's roll. I'll be an NFL street guy, but NHL, FIFA, I'm taking on anybody. Bring it. I am down. Diandra Loux from the Hockey News will join us momentarily, but before we do that, let's tell you about our friends, our partners here on the program, Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC. All your residential and commercial needs, 813-244-0956. My guy Hammer will be with us in 2026 as well. Cannot wait. We love our friends over at Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC, thehonesthammer.com, thehonesthammer@gmail.com. Give them a shout. Tell them that you heard it right here on the Jay Recher podcast. Get you a discount. Listen, you want to renovate your bathroom, your kitchen, another room in your house. You have a plot of land and you're looking for a new custom build. They can help you. And listen, if you're building a home, again, not just a house, your home, you want to be able to trust somebody. And I trust Russ and the folks over there at Honest Hammer. They are the best. They're a Team Tampa Bay sports fan just like you. He's a USF grad. Like, he's just a good human being. These are the kind of people that you want to support. We always talk about support local, the way to go. Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC. Tell them that you heard it right here on the Jay Recher podcast. And of course, Everett Health right here, 17 different locations in Pinellas County. The Everett Health Injury Report every Thursday with Dr. Carlos Rodriguez. He has been such a fantastic addition to the show here. Just such a nice guy. And if you love Dr. Rodriguez, that's how everybody is over there at Everett Health. Again, 17 different locations in Pinellas County. They have the Everett Health Institute where you can go hands-on training and then be able to take that to your career. You're looking for a new career. This is the place to go. And it's very similar to what I went to and what I experienced in my broadcasting school, where you get that hands-on training and then boom, before you know it, you're right there working side by side with some of the best in the business. Give them a shout, man. everhealth.org. Tell them that you heard it right here on the Jay Recher podcast. This is a new type of healthcare. And I know on a day like today, a lot of people talking about healthcare. They have a sliding scale for the uninsured. They take any type of healthcare, and I go there. So I'll take the drive to Pinellas County to be able to be with people like Everett Health. They take care of you. They make you feel like home. And again, if you love a guy like Dr. Rodriguez, who joins us every Thursday at 12:30 for our injury report, there are so many people there like him. And it feels like home. It really does. And if you want to take care of your health, and you want to be around people that are going to take care of you and make it a priority, Everett Health is the way to go. All right, make sure you follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. I am everywhere. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well, trying to get up to 2,000 before the end of the year. 5 more shows, well, 4.5 now of the season before I head up to New York on Sunday. We'll have Sticks and Stools on Saturday with Danielle and John Senning live here from Benchmark International Arena. Monday, Thursday, and Saturday for the Bolts this week. So 3 games before I head up to the island to play Uncle Jay. And they're already sending me messages telling me that the Lightning stinks. My 3-year-old niece, Harper, wants to play Super Smash Brothers. She's sending me videos saying, Uncle Jay, I'm going to kick your butt. So that's what I have in store for me over the next couple of weeks. enjoy the time with family, guys. And we'll talk about this as the week goes on. And again, Friday, top 20 sports stars of Tampa Bay. We'll see who comes in at number 1. Could it be Baker Mayfield? Could the late season swoon for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, could that affect how people look at Baker Mayfield? Could John Cooper, Andrei Vasilevsky, Nikita Kucherov, maybe they're number 1? We'll find out. Speaking of Nikita Kucherov and the Tampa Bay Lightning, we'll keep the conversation about the Bolts going with our good friend Diandra Loux from the Hockey News. Diandra Loux, what it do? Did you tell your dad you're going to be on here?
Well, hello again. I actually just saw Jay. Just for those who are listening, I saw Jay about an hour ago. I actually did not get a chance to tell.
Oh my gosh, he's going to be so upset.
I remember he used to listen to you when you were on the radio, and then he would text me about things that you said that either he agreed or disagreed with.
That's good. I love it. Your dad's the man, and I'm sure he's so proud of you and your journey in your career. You've been absolutely crushing it for the Hockey News, so job well done. First and foremost there. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Fireworks. Could we see the fireworks? You went down there, and it was a tense hockey game, but not much of the extracurriculars. What about tonight? I feel like everybody's downplaying it. If it happens, I think it's just going to like spontaneously combust. It's kind of weird without Matthew Tkachuk. I think he's kind of like that last little bit of the kind of the explosion that this rivalry needs. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Tkachuk is definitely the guy that he kind of stirs it up, and then I kind of just like disappears a little bit, and I feel like that's when it really starts to get nasty. But yeah, it's so interesting. I was thinking about that. Both teams have so many injuries. I would say the Lightning have found a way to be able to like function without their main guys, and they've been able to win. The Panthers, it's kind of back and forth. It's like they'll win a few games and then they'll lose a few games, and so I think they're still kind of waiting for their guys to come back. But I don't know what to expect for tonight. I do think because it was so calm in the last game, I think there could be something tonight for sure.
Right.
And you got. I think it looks like it's gonna be Nick Paul and then Sabrin and Curtis Douglas on a line, which is just really interesting to me and could be very feisty. So that's a big line. And so we'll see what happens. Again, like it's a very different year, and I'm convinced that something was maybe said, by the league after that preseason game to the Panthers, because they really were a different team against the Lightning in November.
Yeah. I try to ask like Darren Radich say, he's like, no, it's respecting the team. And I feel like sometimes it's like when the parents are away, the kids are going to go crazy. I feel like because there's not as much attention, maybe there could be something, but it could be wishful thinking. It's also weird too, because like Hedman's not playing, McDonough's not in there, Vasi's not in there. So, as much of the, you look at the firepower, like some guys are there, but not all of them. So I think that takes maybe a little bit of the juice out of there as well. What have you made of the team's play over the last week? I mean, obviously they were on that 4-game losing streak, and then they come back and play a couple of good games. What do you make of how they've been able to deal with some of these injuries to stay near or at the top of the Atlantic and the Eastern Conference?
Yeah, I mean, I had no doubt that they were going to flip that around. I thought they were playing well defensively, obviously the whole time. And it's interesting to me with the scoring though, because it really is. It goes from scoring 0 goals, right, to scoring like 8 goals, and you're just the ride of this. We got to see it, this past week. So I think I guess with this team, I feel like this is such a strong team, and it's not. Every game isn't different. Like we've seen them consistently play good defense, and the fact that they've been able to do it without so many key guys, they're not just missing like random, depth players. Like these are their core, and they've been out with some serious injuries. So I think watching some of the Syracuse guys step in, it really is a revolving door. Because I was talking about it with Mish today. It's like McDonough he's day to day. He's close to coming back in, but Lilleberg is now out until said he's hoping by the Olympic break. So it really is a revolving door for Jerseys. But I think it just speaks to the organization. Honestly, it sounds like a broken record, but the fact that these guys are comfortable coming in and playing the way that they have has been really impressive to watch.
I saw you speaking of JJ Moser today. I mean, that guy, you got to be careful because if you don't, you'll be over there for 20 minutes talking to that guy. And it's like, all right, Cooper's talking. I'm like, I'm still talking to JJ over here. But how good has he been? I mean, I know you saw the things on social media when people were talking about, oh, the Lightning wish they would have had that trade back. I don't think so, buddy. I mean, JJ Moser, and this is no disrespect to Mikhail Sergachev. They got a lot of love for him, of course, 2-time Stanley Cup champion. But, I mean, he has been as steady as humanly possible, solid as a rock, a restricted free agent after this season. I'm not surprised. I know I would be surprised if they don't bring it. He's a huge part of this team, D, isn't he?
Yeah. And I think, that's not just, it wasn't just like he went into his second year with the Lightning and he felt comfortable and now he's playing well. Like he put a lot into that, put a lot into his training this summer. He put a lot into it mentally. Like the mental piece is what he worked on the most. And that's kind of what he and I were talking about, was just like all the prep that he did for this season and everything he put into it. And he held himself accountable and he took ownership of his training, ownership of his game. And so he's kind of like, the way that he described it is he's pushing himself to the brink of as far as like as much effort as he possibly can to improve his game. And he's obviously doing it, as we've seen. But also I asked him, about some of the Syracuse guys, because it's really like he is really had to step up. He and Darren Radish, he credited Radish a lot. But he's like, we all took on a little bit of the responsibility so that everything wasn't just falling on them. And he and Radish have just kind of basically seen themselves as the vets and tried to kind of lead the group. So really interesting.
Speaking of Ratty, this was a guy a couple weeks ago, D. We were wondering if his time was coming to an end with the Tampa Bay Lightning, and then he has a kid, and his dad, our buddy Ed wrote a really great story on his dad with the stage 4 cancer, and man, he's just been fantastic. He's playing the best hockey of his career, and he looks so confident. He's shooting the puck. I mean, how great is it to be able to see a guy like that, who we know he's such a nice guy, kind of be on the brink of extinction when it comes to his time with the Tampa Bay Lightning, and his back's against the wall and he comes out swinging and playing the best hockey of his career.
Yeah. And we see such a different side of the guys, obviously the coaches see, they know what they need. They know what they want. And for us, we see the other side of it. So, I think we've always always wanted him to play this role that he's playing now. Even last year, there were times where he'd be scratched, Perbix would be in, and now he's finally getting that chance, and we can see what he's able to do. And his shot is insane. So, we haven't gotten a chance to see that, but with some injuries, and also he was on the top power play unit before there were injuries.
Right.
So he was kind of getting the opportunity anyways, and it's obviously paying off. And when you look at some of they're not even always younger guys, just some of these guys coming in from Syracuse, they're lucky to presence for sure.
He's such a nice guy, and I'm glad all these good things are happening to him. And you see some of the other guys on this team, and you look at with Cooch, and you look at Pointer, and some good players. Obviously, Jake Gensel, and I look at Oliver Bjorkstrand, and I still think he's a guy just trying to find his way. What have you seen from him? Do you think he's getting closer to finding where he fits in? I still feel like he could be kind of the square peg in the round hole right now.
Yeah, Jay, how it is when sometimes these guys come in and you can tell right away, if they're going to pick up and fit into the culture and pick up on the system and learn really quickly. You can tell now because everything is it's been the same way for so long. You can tell if a player's going to come in and just fit right away. Hagel and Nick Paul are the perfect example.
Right.
But it seems like Bjorkstrand, it's taken him a little bit longer. And, I feel like from a comfort level, he feels comfortable. He did in training camp. So that piece is there. And he's obviously a really high skilled player. So I don't know if maybe it's just, the dynamic that it is on the ice. If it's his role specifically, I know, when he played in the power play in Seattle, he was not, doing the one timer. And I will say that's a tough role to fill, right?
It is. Oh yeah.
That's a big spot. So, but it just seems like it's not, he just hasn't figured it out yet or where his comfort level is. And I don't know if we've seen enough consistently to say that he's, moving in the right direction, although he has had, a couple of solid games. So we'll see. To be determined, I think, on that. But they could definitely use him. That's for sure. Especially
Yeah.
that play.
Yeah, and I was hoping, like, when I saw a couple of games ago when Kucherov was playing with Hagel and Cirelli, and then they put that line of Point, Gensel, and Bjorkstrand together, I was like, all right, well, maybe, you can find something there. Obviously the speed of Point, the smarts of a guy like Jake Gensel. He's playing with two really skilled players.
Yeah.
Maybe, because if it doesn't work out there, then you got to start wondering, like, what's going on here. I think Jake Gensel is such a funny guy. People were talking about him before. Like, he doesn't speak a ton. Even when he does the post-game interview stuff, like, he's very, like, mild-mannered. He doesn't speak a lot, but, man, he does his talking on the ice. He's such a solid player.
Yeah, no, smart of Julian. We talk about, like, some of the moves that Julian made that summer with the Sergachev trade. And, again, like, nothing towards Sergei, but, like, they got a really good player out of two really good players out of that. And then bringing on Gensel. I mean, even during the kind of the lull that the Lightning had, like, he was consistently there and producing. So he is a great player. He is a man of very few words. But yeah, he's a great player to have on this team.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And when, you're around this club and you're wondering, like, all right, we're going to get closer and closer to the Olympics. These seasons fly by. I think it's game 31, 32 tonight for the Lightning, 33 tonight. I mean, we're almost halfway through the season. It feels like it's flown by. What's been kind of your big, aside from the injuries, what's kind of been, as we're getting closer to the first half of the season, wrapping up, what's been one of the big things that stood out to you?
I will say, too, of these seasons, I break them up into thirds without even, like, realizing it. I don't know if you do that, too. I do, like, before Christmas, and then I do post-Christmas before, like, the All-Star, now this year, the Olympic break. And then once they get back from that break, it goes by so fast.
It does.
It's like we're fatigued from it being such a long season. Then you get the high before the playoffs start. You're like,
right.
But yeah, no, I think you said my biggest surprise this season, you think?
Yeah.
I mean, I know you don't want to talk about the injuries, but I
it's got to be part of it, right?
It is been the story. Every time I turn around, there's an injury. But I think it's been watching some of the guys, like we talk about Darren Radish and some of those guys, like watching those guys step up and have, like, Radish, I think he played 28 minutes the other night. Like, if you would have asked me last season if you would have told me that was going to happen, I would have, like, 28 minutes. But I think watching guys like that step in, and I think even you could talk about Yanni Gordon. Yes, he's a veteran, but, like, he's really been in the mix with some of those Syracuse guys. He's been able to adapt to both groups in the room. So it's seeing the players that you didn't expect take on leadership roles, and then watching JJ Moser do what he's done this season. But if you lose your captain, and then also, like, a guy like McDonough, and this team is still managing to stay afloat because of guys like that, like, I think that is the story of the season for sure.
Charlotte too has been fantastic. I mean, scoring that goal in Montreal in front of all of his friends and family has just been incredible. He's just been so solid. And the guy that he's been playing with, it sucks to see Emil Lilleberg go down, because I'm sure you have seen it a lot on social media. He was kind of public enemy number one in the beginning of the season, but he's played so much better as of late. Talking to John Cooper, it's like, hey, another injury. I mean, you look at Coop and the coaching staff, as much as we talk about the players stepping up, I think the coaches they've earned a lot of love and kudos for being able to keep this team afloat. Hell, keep them afloat. They're in first place in the Atlantic. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're not just, like, hanging on by a thread. They're playing really, really well. I think, again, like I said, it just kind of speaks to the organization and the communication between Syracuse and the Lightning. And yeah, Lilleberg has been playing really well since he's been paired with this team. So it's unfortunate, because that's a big injury. So again, it's like the revolving door. And I thought it was interesting today when Coop said that they have, like, picked apart, like, how could, is there something that we're doing basically that is causing this? And it just is, like, it's what it is, but it's around the league too. It's not even just the Lightning right now.
Yeah, just saw Connor Bedard going on IR too. So, I mean, yeah, there's injuries all around the National Hockey League. What's the plans for Christmas with the Loux fam?
Yeah, so I do. I have everyone over at my house for Christmas Eve.
Wow. Okay. How many people?
It's like a smaller group. I mean, I'm not gonna have I would have a lot of people over if they want to come over. I'm like, whatever. Anyone who like isn't gonna be with their family on Christmas Eve or whatever, I'm just like, come on over.
That's nice.
So yeah, so we do that at my place, and then so I host, but this year I'm taking it very seriously. I'm like, okay, we're gonna have everything that we need.
Really? What do you mean by taking it seriously? What's different?
I think I'm gonna I decorated already some, but I'm gonna decorate more. And then we're gonna have like a full spread, and I got some really nice wine. And then my building has like a rooftop room, so we go up there and stuff, and it's really
nice.
fun. I'm hosting Christmas Eve, and then my parents will go to my parents' house for Christmas. So
nice. What do you want for Christmas this year, Diandra Loux?
Honestly, nothing.
Nothing. Come on.
I feel like, I don't know, not to sound sappy, but I feel like I have everything I need.
Oh.
So I actually told my parents not to get me anything this year. And my mom was like, okay, like she like took the opportunity to be like, oh, we don't have to. And my dad's like, enough.
Come on, don't you want some shiny gold shoes to match mine, and we can have Phil make fun of you like he makes fun of me? Come on, don't
He
you?
would never make fun of me though. That's the difference.
That's nice. He would say, "I love those, D. They look fantastic.
Like, really nice shoes. Those are really nice shoes.
Those are really." I'm like, "Shut up, Phil." Pain in the ass. What is that like being around Phil Esposito? I mean, I tell people all the time on the show, but you're right there with us. I mean, it's I don't take it for granted, and I know you don't either, but there's going to be one day we look back on it and be like, can you imagine how many times we spent with Phil Esposito talking hockey? Like, it's a blessing, isn't it?
I love him so much. Like, I feel like, we're so lucky that we get to do this. And he will, like, if I am not there or you're not there, he'll ask each of us where the other one is.
Like,
I feel like, I don't know. I just love him so much. I'm so grateful for him. And you're right. Like it's something that I do actively think about. I'm like, we're really lucky that we have some crazy conversations. Like it's not they can go in any direction. Nobody
and it doesn't always have to stay with hockey either, which is kind of crazy. And for those of you watching us, like, Phil doesn't hold anything back because Diandra is a woman. Let me tell you, that's for sure. He does not care. He's going to go right off. D is right in there.
He's like, I'm very sorry, but then he'll go on and say what he wanted to say. He'll just
It's like he tries to keep it as PG as possible, but I mean, you think about it, D. Like we wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for him.
No,
right? I mean, like it's crazy to think that
last game when they did the birthday for the Lightning with the cake and everything, and I was like, honestly, Phil, I know you're not going to be serious when I tell you this, but if you didn't do what you did, which was not easy, it was not easy to bring this team here, but I'm like, if you didn't do what you did, my life would be very different right now. So very grateful for him.
And that's a great point, because I know for me, throughout my years at the radio station and then here, like the Tampa Bay Lightning have been such a huge part of my career. And Phil, man, I mean, he brought him here. I mean, to think that, just think about that, D. Like, it's one thing to be a hockey player. It's another thing to be like, hey, I want to create a team. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, people have a tough time making fantasy football and fantasy hockey teams. This guy was like, I want to bring hockey to Tampa. Like, I still think at times we don't really think about it enough. It's crazy, man.
I know. We
Unbelievable.
don't. Because he like minimizes it too. He's like,
he does. He's not nostalgic. People don't realize that. People think like, because Phil has so many of these stories, he doesn't tell these stories out of nostalgia. He tells them because he's part of the party. I remember we were at MSG a couple years ago with EJ Raddick from NHL Network, and he's like, Phil, must be great to be back in Madison Square Garden. He goes, I don't give a crap about this place. He goes, well, what are some of your best memories? He goes, I don't even remember what I had for breakfast this morning. I don't know what. He's just not that guy. I remember going, Phil, look, there's Austin Matthews. He's like, I don't give a crap about that guy. I'm hanging out with you and D.
I think I was there for that. Yeah.
I'm like, Phil, look, he scored 60 goals. He's like, I don't give a crap about that guy.
Yeah.
And I said, Phil, you should have taken better care of yourself. You scored 717 goals. That's it. Jeez, Phil, lay off the booze. You would have had 800.
Yeah,
like, that's a good. But he wouldn't have had as many stories to tell us. So that's
the stories are endless, and the ones from Boston are they're
epic.
Hilarious. Yeah.
Tell us about some of the stories that you got coming out soon, coming up on the Hockey News, D.
Yeah, well, I am doing one. Obviously, you saw me talking to Moser, so you know that I'm doing that one. And then I have a couple more in the bank, but I think there's some really good. I think I talked about this last time, but one of the cool things this year has been being able to like build relationships with some of the new names, like the new guys that are coming into the room that we've never really gotten a chance to talk to, and they all have journeys and stories of how they got here, and a lot of them didn't think that they would ever make it up here. So it's been cool to get to know some of those guys and do stories on them, and then see how they're interacting with some of the veteran players as well. So that's kind of like, I feel like that's where my stories have been going this season. It's kind of in that realm.
No, I like that. There's just the personal side of the whole thing. I think we forget about that sometimes. We think so much about on the ice and practice, and then you hear when John Cooper says today about Nick Paul about how he's witty and he's funny, and these guys spend so much more time together off the ice than on the ice, right? Yeah. We forget about that. Like they travel and they go on these things where it's like, all right, you play hockey and you're on a road trip of 4 games, and it's like you're playing for a couple hours, but the rest of the week you guys are together. Right. We kind of forget that, like there's the human element side of it. So if that's the angle you're taking for your stories, I think that's very, very smart. And you continue the great work. Diandra Loux, Diandra_Loux on Twitter/X, the Hockey News. Go check them out today. Diandra, you're the best. Thank you so much. I'll see you tonight. Don't be late, because if you're late, Phil's going to get on me.
I know.
And if the elevator's broken, you're also going to tell us. Let me tell you guys, when the elevator's down, Eric Erlinson, Eddie Encina, they don't tell us when the elevator's down. But Diandra, every single time, she'll send the group text, big freight is down, guys. Just a heads up. She's always looking out for everybody in the
I will say, I do have a source in the building that texts me at like 3 when the elevator's down. And I'm like, oh, now I can tell the guys. I'll let them know.
This is it. This is why you need to follow Diandra Loux, Diandra_Loux, the Hockey News, because if you want to get upstairs, you may have to use the silver bullet, because the big freight is down. Diandra's going to let us know.
Yep, that's right.
You're the best, D. Thanks so much. I'll see you tonight.
Thanks, Jay.
Take care. The great Diandra Loux from the Hockey News, crushing it as always here on the program, talking all things Lightning. Make sure you follow her on all social media platforms as well. Yeah, one of these days I got to get her and Phil like a gag gift. I got to get him some shoes that match mine. Yeah, good stuff there. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. I'm everywhere, man. I am everywhere. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. We got the Rink of Dreams going on at 6-2 home team. No national anthem today for this team. No national anthem. That was during the Ian Beckles interview. So I guess they, when they're a little late, I think when the teams are a little late, or maybe it's when both teams do morning skate, because the Lightning and the Panthers both had morning skate today. Sometimes it's just the Lightning. I don't know. I'm going to find that out. So I can tell you guys. All right. What a weekend, right? There were so many things that went on, and shout out to Mendoza for winning the Heisman Trophy. And we just found this out for sure from Ian Rappaport. Micah Parsons has, in fact, torn his ACL, out for the 2025 season. The MRI confirmed. He faces a 9-month recovery at least. It's rough, man. That is rough. It sucks so bad. Selfishly for my fantasy team, yes. But just, I don't want to see – I said this like last week. One of the worst things is, about the NFL is how often we talk about injuries, but it's just part of the gig. The Jets have fired their defensive coordinator, Steve Wilkes, after that absolute blasting at the hands of the Jaguars. And you look at the games yesterday. Thank you very much to the Saints for that win over the Panthers. Like you just don't know. And that's why I'm talking to Ian of, would you be surprised if anything happened with the Buccaneers as far as making the playoffs? Like, would you bet your house on it? No, but would anything surprise you at this point? Also, no. Ravens win 24-0 over the Bengals. Big divisional win for them. Obviously, the Bengals going nowhere fast in that division. The Ravens still trying to vie for a playoff spot there in the AFCs. I'm sure teams like the Ravens, teams like the Bills, this is their opportunity. How many years have we seen Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and their teams thwarted by Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs? The door's wide open for somebody new in the AFC. And I think that's one of the biggest storylines. Whether you're a Chiefs fan or not, they're 6-8. They are done, losing 16-13 at home to the Chargers. And then you add injury to insult with Patrick Mahomes tearing his ACL. I mean, Travis Kelce, does he come back next year? I don't think so. But the Chargers now sitting at 10-4. They got to be feeling pretty damn good about themselves. And then the AFC East matchup with the Bills and the Patriots yesterday. What a comeback from the Buffalo Bills. They end the Patriots' 10-game winning streak, 35-31. It was a frigid one. That's a hell of a matchup. I'm really big fan of Travion Henderson. We saw what he did against the Buccaneers, and he was good yesterday against Buffalo, over 140 yards and a couple of touchdowns. And if I'm Josh Allen, I'm looking at my opportunity this year as this is it. This is it. If I'm Buffalo or Baltimore, and I look at Lamar Jackson earlier on in the season, dealing with the injury, and I told you guys, if you listen to the show, Baltimore's going to go on a run. Now they're in a spot where, hey, why not us? Buffalo, after losing earlier this year at home against the New England Patriots, they go into their barn and win. They're 10-4, the game behind them in the division. This is the year you got to capitalize. This can't be a Rams year. This can't be an Eagles year. This can't be an NFC year. If you're Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, this is the best chance you got to make it and win the Super Bowl. Listen, I hate that there is that conversation of guys, and I know it's just natural, but the fact that we can point out names like Stockton and Malone and Charles Barkley and Dan Marino and Patrick Ewing, and it sucks, man. It sucks that they always have to have that attributed to their career, that even though they're Hall of Famers, even though they're some of the best players of all time, they weren't able to achieve that team success. And you don't see it as much in hockey. You really don't. I think Marcel Dion, I think he's probably the most prevalent player that hasn't won a cup, but I mean, I guess you could say Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. But it just, I hope one of those two guys wins it. If it ain't the Bucks and it ain't the Giants, I hope that it's one of those two guys so they can scratch their name off that list. You want guys to be champions, to be able to achieve, the ultimate goal there. Broncos over the Packers, 34-26. That was a hell of a game. 11 straight for Denver. That AFC West, man, I tell you, as bad as I know Kansas City's not the same team. I get that. But what doesn't help is that Denver and LA are really, really good teams as well. So that's kind of coincided with their dip, and we'll see how Kansas City reloads going into next year, and we'll see if Patrick Mahomes will be ready for week one. Rams over the Lions, 41-34. Rams clinch a playoff spot with that one. I thought the Lions scoring early after that interception by Stafford, they had a shot, but did not work out for them. Niners win. Seahawks beat Phillip Rivers and the Indianapolis Colts 18-16. The Vikings put the kibosh on the Cowboys 34-26. And again, the Saints, Tyler Shough, looked pretty good, man. Looked pretty good. And listen, Rico Dowdle, only 49 yards. I know he was able to get into the end zone. That's the guy that the Buccaneers are going to have to stop. They've had trouble with Bijan Robinson. They've had trouble with the Saquon Barkleys and the fast running backs and getting outside and being able to catch the ball out in space. They're going to run Rico Dowdle early and often in this game coming up. But the Buccaneers have everything in front of them. For all the talk about what they don't have and everything that's gone wrong for them, you have a shot. You control your own destiny. That's it. You control your own destiny. You go out there, you take care of business. Everybody will have to say, hey, regardless of what the future is going to tell us about your team, whether you make a long run in the postseason or not, you have your entire destiny right in front of you. Go out there and make a difference. No excuses. I want to hear about anybody saying, oh, they don't have this. Whatever, man. Go out there and win the freaking game. Go out there and beat the Carolina Panthers. No excuse. No excuse. All right. What else was going on? I'll tell you what. The NBA season. I love the Cup. I love the NBA Cup. When you see a guy like Victor Wembanyama, and it was one of the best games all year. The Knicks had trouble beating Orlando. They beat him the last two times, and they beat him in the Cup. And I just still don't love. We'll start there before we go to the Western Conference because we don't talk much Magic on the show. But when I watched this game, I was disgusted with what I saw when it came to Orlando. Jalen Suggs, who has dealt with his injuries since they drafted him, a hell of a player. And you can tell that he's clearly compromised. Clearly. Not, I mean, he's holding his hip. He can't run. He's calling to the bench that he needs to come out of the game. And play still goes on. They don't call a timeout. They don't do anything. They don't even get a guy to the scorer's table right away. The ball ends up going around. They kick it around the 3-point line. He's in the corner. He takes a shot, and he gets fouled. He's in clear discomfort. And Mosley and the Orlando Magic are just kind of standing there looking around like, what the hell's going on? Like, such a lack of attention to detail. It's not like he's hurt and, he's waving the guys off. He's telling you he needs a sub, and they're just, like, sitting on their thumbs. It's just such freaking negligence. It was weird. Such a weird dynamic. If he's out for any type of, any long part of time like that, shame on them. Shame on them. Not good enough. So the Knicks advance after their win, NBA Cup final against the San Antonio Spurs. One of the best games you're going to see all season. Victor Wembanyama, Stephon Castle, who I am a huge Stephon Castle fan. Coming out of UConn, the way that he defends, he was right there in front of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander the entire time, making life a living hell for those guys. Wemby's just, you got Jalen Williams, who's one of the best defenders in the game, going up against Victor Wembanyama. Like, that is a huge size mismatch, but he's got the power. He tries to get underneath him, but Wemby, the shot that he made the other day at the top of the key, double clutch, fading away from the basket. Like, if guards make that, you're thoroughly impressed. He's 7'5". Wow. Just wow. I can't wait. There is that kind of like cross-conference rivalry between the Knicks and the Spurs. They've obviously played against each other a couple of years ago not a couple of years ago, 25 years ago in the finals. But Tuesday night, tomorrow night, 2 18-7 teams. I cannot wait, man. I cannot wait. That is going to be so freaking awesome. Sign me up. How about the big trade? The big trade over the weekend in the National Hockey League, where Quinn Hughes gets moved to the Minnesota Wild. Second big move of the day. First one was Tristan Jarry going from Pittsburgh to Edmonton. Stuart Skinner and Kulak going back the other way. But the big deal was the Vancouver Canucks trading their captain and their star, Quinn Hughes, to the Minnesota Wild for defenseman Zeev Buium, Liam Ogren, Marco Rossi, also a first-round pick, and a 2026 first going back to Vancouver. I like this deal for both sides. I really do. If you're Vancouver, you got to get rid of Quinn Hughes because he's not signing there long-term, and you're not going to bring in Jack and Luke. They're going to play together at some point, whether it's in Minnesota, whether it's in Detroit, or whether Quinn eventually heads over to New Jersey. The three of those guys will eventually play together. We know that for a fact. It's just going to happen. So what do you do if you're Vancouver? Do you wait? Do you sit around? And do you wonder, all right, well, maybe we'll re-sign. Maybe we can do this. No. You look at where you're at right now. You're in last place in the Pacific Division. You have the least amount of points in the National Hockey League with 27. Strike while the iron's hot. Go get you a guy. And Zeev Buium, I love. Another U.S. defender. Kind of cool U.S. defenders going for each other. Love Zeev with U.S. men's national team. He is going to be a guy that's a stud. Liam Ogren, another young player. Let's see if we can get some top six matchups. And Marco Rossi, a former first-round pick. Maybe a change of scenery will do him well. And then you also get a first-round pick next year. I think both teams, when you look at the Wild, they need more goal scoring. They need more offensive firepower to go with Kirill Kaprizov. I like it. I like it for both teams. You don't have to wait for the trade deadline. Go out there, make a move, make your team better. But a little bit of a shocker that it's at this point of the year. But if you're Vancouver, why wait? You got the leverage right now. You did it. You got a defenseman back, a first-round pick back. I didn't hate that at all for either team. Adam Oates, also another guy that didn't win a Stanley Cup. Good on you. Jay, have you seen the Raise the Flags yet? Yes. I have seen 2 episodes of it. So I haven't seen all of them, but unbelievable, man. Unbelievable start. Love watching the beginning. I'm right before is my 2 episodes in? Maybe 3. I am right before they win the first Super Bowl. So I think it's like the year before that. That's where I'm at. But what a job well done. What a job well done all the way around. Very, very big fan of what they did. What's going on in Steinbauer Sports? Make sure just like Steinbauer Sports, you kill that like button, guys, wherever you're watching from, whether it's Facebook, on YouTube, or Twitter/X as well. Let's see what else happened over the weekend. I want to make sure that I get it all. Anything in Major League Baseball? Looks like, what is this? Adolis Garcia going to the Phillies on a $10 million contract. Interesting. I like that for them. Right-handed power bat balances that offense out a little bit. Philly was a team that I was really high on last year. I thought they were going to have the best chance to dethrone the Los Angeles Dodgers because you have Harper, you have Turner, you have the starters. You went out and you got Duran at the deadline from the Twins. Thought the bullpen would probably be, the thing that would take them over. Unfortunately, Ryan Kirkring and what happened there. We'll see how they reload. Bringing Schwarber back was huge. He's a Philadelphia Philly guy. I mean, you gotta get him there. You gotta get him in there. And then we'll see what the Rays do. We'll see what the Yankees do. Still haven't heard anything about Cody Bellinger, and who's the other guy? Oh, Kyle Tucker. Duh. Where do those guys end up going? That should be very, very interesting. Cannot wait for that. Men's hoops, NCAA, Iowa State. Oh, let's give you some soccer. Man U's playing today. We're gonna finish talking about John Cena. Don't you wait, or please do wait. Michael Bradley, former U.S. national. He is now the head coach of the New York Red Bulls. Manchester United and Bournemouth at 3:00 today. Big scores from over the weekend. Looking at Saturday, Chelsea with a 2-0 win over Everton in that one. Back in town. Liverpool with a 2-0 win over Brighton and Hove. Mo Salah comes off the bench. Assist, waves to the crowd. Could that be his final game with Liverpool? We shall see. He leaves for AFCON in the African Nations Cup. Arsenal with a 2-1 win over Wolves. That was not a pretty game at all. Barcelona 2-0 win. Atleti with a 2-1 win. Bayer Leverkusen with a 2-0 win over Cologne in the Bundesliga. Paris Saint-Germain with a 3-2 win over Metz. That was on Saturday. Sunday, Crystal Palace 3-0 loss. 3-0 to Manchester City. Forest with a 3-0 win over Tottenham. What the hell is going on with the Spurs, man? They are jacked up. Real Madrid with a 2-1 win over Alaves. 1-1 draw with Borussia Dortmund and Freiburg, and a 2-2 draw with Bayern Munich and Mainz. And Juventus with a 1-0 win over Bologna. Napoli, what is going on? 1-0 loss to Udinese, and I know Antonio Conte, the coach, he is not thrilled about that at all. No bueno. All right, so let's finish the show today talking about, in my mind, what was one of the biggest stories of the weekend, and that was the final match for John Cena. Saturday night's main event there in the nation's capital against Gunther. I love the entire card. Cody Rhodes battled it out with Obafemi. No contest there after Drew McIntyre goes into the ring. Both baby faces kind of put each other over. Pretty good match between both of those guys. Also enjoyed the women's match between Sol Ruka and Bayley. Sol is she's just a woman that she does things in the ring that we've never seen a woman do. And like even some of her moves, you're like, I don't know if we see men do things like that. She's just phenomenal. And Bayley, to have her go out there and trust her with that spot, she's always going to come through for you. The tag team match between Leon Slater and Javon Evans against AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. Solid win for the WWE Tag Team Champions, but AJ did slip on the Phenomenal Forearm. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but it wasn't necessarily a good look for the Phenomenal one, that's for sure. I like that Miz came out and he did something with R-Truth and Joe Hendry. Really, really good stuff. And then finally, the last match for John Cena against Gunther in the main event. The lights went to black. His music played. The love and the adoration that he got from everybody there. To see all the people that were there. See Sami Zayn with their son. What a nice touch that was. Sami just taking it as a fan with his kid. To see Michelle McCool and Trish Stratus and Eve Torres and Booker T was out there, and Elias was even out there, and Mark Henry and Kurt Angle and Solo Sikoa and the MFTs. Like, It was really nice, man. It was really nice. And to see after the fact, everybody come out to see CM Punk and Cody Rhodes go into the ring and have John put the belts on and for everybody to take pictures with him and everybody booing Triple H. Like, it was good, man. Wrestling is supposed to make you feel something. And that's what this John Cena farewell tour has done. Was it perfect? No. Was it as bad as people are saying that are shitting all over it? No, because I think there were some really good moments. I think Cody winning the belt back was good. I think him turning face was smarter. And even the stuff with CM Punk when he was the heel, I thought that was really good stuff. You know, him wrestling with The Miz and R-Truth and wrestling with Sheamus and Rey Mysterio. There's some good things in there. It's never going to be perfect. The finish, tapping out, John Cena, hustle, loyalty, and respect. Never give up. The things that he has been chanting for 23 years in the business. And he goes out losing to Gunther, tapping out to the rear naked choke. Was I surprised? Yes. I thought Cena was just going to pass out, never give up to the end. Gunther celebrates, leaves, and then when Cena comes to, then he gets the round of applause and he gets, rides off into the sunset with everybody cheering his name. But no, we get John Cena tapping out. Initially, hated it. 30 seconds later, loved it. Because that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to piss you off. How else was it going to happen? Like that, as much as it's going to be a heartfelt, positive moment, you still, one of the biggest things out of your final match is putting somebody else over, giving them the rub, making sure that they're just not getting credit for being in the match. But what kind of visceral emotion are you going to have for that person because they're the person that retired John Cena? The way you do that is by mixing in how pissed off people are about the ending of the match. People are mad at Triple H because of that. Who are they going to take that out on? Yes, Triple H, but also on Gunther. He retired Goldberg. He retired. he retired John Cena. When he steps out into the ring tonight on Monday Night Raw, you're going to hear a very similar reaction to what we heard when Roman Reigns beat Undertaker at WrestleMania years ago in Orlando. They're going to boo the ever-living shit out of him. And all Gunther needs to do is just take it in, take it in, take it in. And all Gunther needs to do is put the microphone to his mouth and say, I made John Cena give up. Drop the mic and leave. That's it. That is it. And everybody's going to boo the ever-living crap out of this guy. And that is what it's all about. It's not just about making you feel good. It's about making you pissed. It's about making you sad. It's about making you disappointed. It's about making you over the moon. Like, that's what wrestling is all about. It's not all good. I still feel great about John Cena. I still feel great about his career. I still love that everybody gave him his flowers on the way out. And you want to talk about professionalism, go back and watch the interview with Jackie Redmond and Cody Rhodes at the end. An impromptu ringside chat. That's why Jackie's number one in the business. She's the best. She's incredible. Cody just taking it all in. You could tell how much it meant to him. He looked up to John Cena. He rode with John Cena. He drove him around from town to town. The impact that John Cena had. I mean, you want to talk about using your platform for good. Nobody has ever granted more Make-A-Wishes than John Cena. It's incredible. It's incredible. 23 years at the top of his game. And whether you liked him, whether you hated him, you always felt something. Let's go Cena. Cena sucks. You were on one of those sides. You weren't sitting on your hands. But you knew when you heard do 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 do, here comes a guy that's going to give you 100%, and people are going to lose their mind. One of the greatest of all time, no doubt about it. I mean, you can't mention wrestling and the history of it without mentioning John Cena. He was that big of a part. He's right up there with the Hulk Hogans. He's right up there with the Stone Colds and the Rocks and the Ric Flairs. He's right up there. He drew money. He had crossover appeal. It's John Cena, man. John Cena. Respect. Mr. Hustle, loyalty, and respect. I salute you, man, because you gave me a lot of great memories as a wrestling fan. You put over a lot of people, introduced a lot of stars in the game. And listen, you think Triple H was the guy that came up with the ideas? Probably everybody working together, but John Cena understands what that final match was supposed to be like. And he made people dislike Triple H. He made people dislike Gunther. I wouldn't mind seeing Triple H like a Mr. in Command type character, maybe with Gunther as his lead henchman. That would be pretty badass. But again, one more salute to John Cena. Thanks for the memories, man. It's been a lot of fun. You guys know how much I love wrestling. And I was explaining it to somebody the other night about why I like the tap out. And my friend says to me, this is so much like a soap opera. And I go, yeah, that's why my mom gets it. My dad does it. My dad never understood me liking wrestling as much as I did. But my mom, been watching General Hospital for 50 years. Like, she gets it. It's a male soap opera. I love it. And people are like, oh, you know it's not real. Yeah, I got it. Super athletic, though. You know Tony Soprano is not really Tony Soprano, right? Like, you know that those dragons aren't real on Game of Thrones, right? Like, keeping things in perspective. You know Robert Downey Jr. is not really Iron Man. Excited for the next Avengers and all that stuff's going to be a lot of fun. All right, it's going to wrap it up for me today. That's all I got. It's freaking freezing in here. I got to go outside, but it's not cooler outside. I don't know. I got to go outside and defrost before I get hour and 15 minutes away from probably getting really mad at Manchester United, because that's what I do. A big thank you to Diandra Loux for joining us on the program. She is wonderful. A big thank you to Ian Beckles for joining us like he does every Monday at 12:30. The show is so much better because of people like Ian joining us every single week on the program, and because of people like you. And thank you so much for the super chat, $2. Appreciate you, buddy. I'll try to get out and see. It's hard to get out here from the press box, but I'll do my best. Come by 319. You can come by 319 and walk up the steps and say hello. It's probably the best way to go about it. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms, ladies and gents. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. Like and subscribe on YouTube. We got to get up to 2,000 subscribers. I probably won't be allowed to play hockey with my nephew if I don't do that. A big thank you to our partners, Honest Hammer and EverHealth as well. I love you all. Go Bolts. Big game tonight against the Panthers. Hopefully it's filled with a lot of fireworks. You guys are the best. See you tomorrow at home right here at noon on the J Rich Podcast. I'm gone.